Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ask Me Anything Travel Policies and New Travel Trends Recap. My name is Kevin Dorsey. I'm one of the SAP Concur Community Site Managers. I have with me today Ralph Colunga, the main star of the AMA, to recap some questions we wanted to highlight from our Ask Me Anything event. Thank you
Good
for
morning.
joining,
Good
Ralph.
morning. You betcha. Good morning, everyone. And thank you for this opportunity, Kevin.
Oh, no problem. We're happy to have you.
Good.
So we're just going to jump right in here. Let's start with somebody had asked about they would appreciate any direction you can provide to find detailed explanation of risk measurement guidelines or sources used to determine changes in risk ratings, how they align with the risk ratings 1 through 5, and how often the destination location ratings are updated.
Yep. This is largely dependent upon what third-party partner that the customer utilizes in support of their risk management program, which would include duty of care. Each service provider aligns and sources this a little differently. And just as an example, here at SAP, we have a risk intelligence function that evaluates, the geopolitical as well as other targeted risk areas, and also, utilize, both global and U.S. intelligence data sources, as well as our service provider, which is International SOS. So we receive information from them. And then we're also taking into account any COVID-related information from the World, the World Health Center, if you will, taking their information as well as our own, service providers, again, along the space. That is then aligned with our travel safety program, who works to communicate and really coordinate with employees, in so much as providing them the most up-to-date information that we possibly can. That's pretty much how we handle it.
All right, great. That was a good question. So
yeah, it was.
All right, let's go on to the next one here. This one's a little bit longer, but I think it's also one, and it's actually an acronym I'd never heard before, but I'm sure you'll explain it in great detail. But what are the plans associated to new distribution capability where the airlines can bundle pricing? For example, for X price, you get 2 check bags and Wi-Fi, or for the Y price, you get 1 page and preferred seating as examples. All the talk I've heard is that it isn't available for travel agencies or programs like Concur Travel. It will force the purchase through the airline direct, which is not good for me as a travel manager. It will inhibit our ability to monitor and enforce policy duty of care. By the way, this is not me asking that question. I'm rereading one of the questions. So I'm not a travel manager, but just wanted to clarify that. So I'll let you go ahead and take that.
Yeah, a new distribution capability is something that is pretty much where the airline industry is heading in terms of wanting to offer different varieties of solutions and services directly with clientele. And there's a value proposition to the airlines to go ahead and, if you will, go business to traveler, so to speak. I mean, cutting out any type of middlemen in terms of their service offerings. Now, pretty much in a nutshell, what we offer, Concur offers NDC connections, through Travel Fusion, to multiple carriers like the Lufthansa Group, United Airlines, and American Airlines. And when I say Travel Fusion, Travel Fusion basically enables Concur users to shop and book hundreds of low-cost carriers that aren't typically in the GDSs or the global distribution systems that are offered out there to provide airline inventory to customers, as well as travel agencies and things of that nature. As well as, it also enables any direct connect schedule airlines. Those offerings are available to customers. So Travel Fusion is the leading online travel, if you will, content aggregator for any direct connect global distribution solutions. It's basically a single platform allowing your business to search, shop, book, merchandise, pay, and really for seamlessly across, I think there's some over 300 airlines, as well as 42 NDC direct airlines. But NDC again is pretty much the direction where things are heading now. It is shown in the same integrated display as a GDS offering from other carriers, so you can do comparison shopping, and that does work within the Travel Fusion function and site. The real issue is whether the airlines are offering enough value, to get the TMC or their TMC really to support a non-GDS channel is what it boils down to.
Oh, okay. Wow, interesting.
Yep.
It's I can definitely see
Ever change.
see that
that
issue there with all those bundled packages, and then how can we offer that? But I'm sure, we've been pretty good over the years to try and keep up with trends and what's happening. So
Travel Fusion has been in effect for many years. So it's something that we are, I think, really extremely proficient at offering. So I would strongly recommend they check out Travel Fusion.
All right, great. All right, next question here. Again, this coming from one of the questions asked during the AMA. How can individual travelers understand the environmental impact of their flights before and after booking? And how do travel managers inform their travelers on how to be sustainable?
Yeah, certainly, we've seen, all of us have seen in the last 2 years, this incredible rise of sustainability to a top tier level of focus from corporations. One of the most recent studies I was looking at just showed the sheer number of just in the last 2.5 years, an incredible movement of corporations basically moving to accept or push sustainability as part of their company branding, which is something that we've never seen, at least certainly from my standpoint, being in this industry over 40 years. We always talked about sustainability, but it was almost looked upon as being kind of an acceptable pollution in that, hey, we got to do our business, so therefore we have to fly, and therefore, we'll go out and buy some carbon credits. But all of that has really changed as a result of the pandemic. And if there was a silver lining in the pandemic, it's really about kind of sustainability and duty of care. Those things have been elevated for health and safety reasons, as well as impacts to the environment. With almost no travel over the last 2 years, you really see the positive effects in terms of that it's had on the environment, and the awareness that I think is also being generationally driven by, I would say, millennials and Gen Z in terms of how important sustainability is to a company program. So, awareness of what the company position is and what the company is asking each employee is key. I would suggest, again, offering training to help inform employees understand the importance of the actions they can take on an individual level to help make a difference with regards to sustainability, as well as what the company is doing with regards to embracing sustainability efforts, and how that's going to be a measure of their success going forward. How really utilizing partner suppliers who embrace sustainability also matters, and to the company. How using, as an example, rail versus flying, if it's available as an option, how much that can really help with regards to reducing the carbon footprint. Companies also need to make sure that they adjust their policies and procedures based upon measuring sustainability results to ensure continued progress and greater impact over time, and make sure that they're reporting that information back out to their populace in terms of how the company is doing with regards to marked progress.
All right, yeah, I can see that a lot of the kind of younger generations are more environmentally aware.
Yep, so, I would agree.
Yeah, so that's good points you make, and I think I do think that like travel managers, and they're like, how do I get this message out? Training, I know, is always a good thing.
Sure.
I think probably utilizing the company notes section on the Concur home screen.
Absolutely.
They can, put announcements there as another way. Those are just a couple, things that come to mind. So yeah, good.
Absolutely.
Great information. Thanks.
Good. You bet.
All right. Last question.
Okay.
With the growing number of supplier direct booking, or SDB, how do travel managers take control? How do travel managers deal with the new attitudes of travelers, such as wanting to take direct flights?
Yeah, this is a discussion that's been coming up more and more, especially with regards to the amount of, I would say, a transition and shift in travel programs to where the travelers want more control or engagement with regards to their travel plans going for the future. So there is we've definitely seen in survey after survey to where the travelers are saying, hey, look, I am willing to travel on behalf of the company, but I'm only willing to travel on my terms because of my health and safety issues, as well as my commitment to sustainability even. So, and having been a former travel manager for the past 30 plus years and managing several major enterprise companies, I ultimately came to the realization that it's not actually about travel managers, quote unquote, taking control. As that to me has been, it really was a losing venture as I see it. And what I mean by that is that, almost every program I've ever seen, you're going to have individuals going supplier direct for a host of reasons. So to me, ultimately, how you get control of a program, it's really about transparency. And to me, transparency equals compliance. It's about obtaining visibility into all bookings taking place across a travel program, irrespective of the booking source. I mean, it really shouldn't matter where it's booked in effect, because again, for a host of reasons, you might very well, need to have your travelers going supplier direct. So I don't think SDBs are necessarily a bad thing. And in many ways, they are the most cost-effective method for a company. And as I said before, as we live in this age of travel personalization and flexibility of choice for health, safety, and sustainable reasons, this is only going to continue to grow. And all data points to that, certainly over the last 2 years is what we're seeing. So our TripLink solution provides the SDB visibility and feeds all this information back into Concur Travel and Expense. So when a traveler books supplier direct and you've got TripLink turned on within your program, those bookings, so if I go to united.com, those bookings and my corporate rates and discounts are available, negotiated rates are available within the United landing site or webpage, if you will. And when you book those bookings auto flow back into Concur. So you have that transparency and visibility, so you can not only see the type of fares or booking class that your employees are booking, but you can also ensure that information is then passed on to your duty of care service provider, et cetera. It's kind of a backflowing of information, if you will, because that information is passed to your TMC as well as to your duty of care service provider. And then again, you also have that visibility to see the type of fare that was being utilized by the employee. So it's really a win-win situation to have that transparency, as I talked about, within your program.
All right, great. As you were answering, I was also thinking of, and it's kind of travel related, but I think some companies could then also ask if, travel managers are worried about extra spend because they are taking direct flights that usually cost more, is ask the travelers, do you have to make that trip, or can you do this meeting, on a Zoom or a Teams or online? Can you meet with the customer or your clients that way? In some instances, if there's, worries about costs being too high for the airfares and things. So I think that's something that's definitely.
And you bring up a critical point, and I think, and this goes back to, again, when I mentioned that they can be the most cost-effective method. One of the things about booking supplier direct, when you look at airlines like Lufthansa, or British Airways and or other airlines are now moving forward in this direction to say, if you're not booking on our travel websites, we're going to charge an extra, anywhere from $15 to $20 per booking. If you're going through a TMC or through another channel versus coming to our website and booking directly. And so in effect, you're not paying this fee if you have TripLink enabled. Basically, again, with those TripLink partners, those bookings that are taking place on the airline reservation site are not charging that extra $15 to $20 per ticket. And so that's a cost savings back to the company. You're not having to pay your TMC for, if you will, those bookings, in terms of the fulfillment, if you will, because it's booked directly with the airlines. And that information is, again, backflowing directly into Concur and visible for the travel manager, as well as your duty of care service providers, et cetera. So it really is, again, one of the most cost-effective methods, going forward. And that's why SDBs are growing so rapidly, is because companies are beginning to realize we have one large enterprise customer, and they're one of the largest companies in the world, who've actually instructed their employees to book directly with Lufthansa on the Lufthansa site, because there's that cost savings of that, it's actually €16, which is about $20 savings back to the company by booking supplier direct, and all those reservations are coming back to the company via TripLink. So again, it's without a question, and TripLink is a proven methodology that works without question.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize airlines were doing that. I mean, I could kind of see
absolutely.
it. It's like those concert ticket resellers who add on all those fees, like, oh, it's convenient to book on our site.
You
But
bet.
then when you look at the total price of the ticket, it's like $25 higher than what they listed, because all these add-on fees because you went through a reseller kind of thing.
Absolutely. And this ties back to NDC, which is, again, new distribution capability. That's where a lot of the our airlines are heading, because again, they don't want to go, they want to go B to T in terms of the transactions, which is business to traveler. So the airlines want to deal directly with the travel communities. And again, that's really kind of the wave of the future. That's where it's heading.
Great. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ralph, for all this great information.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. We appreciate you watching. To see the AMA in its entirety, you can use the community search and enter AMA, and then select the article labeled closed, Ask Me Anything AMA, Travel Policies and New Travel Trends. And there you'll see the entire Ask Me Anything thread. Thanks again for watching.
Thank you.